And we'll start sitting, let's start sitting actually in cobbler. Let's go straight there, holding onto the toes. And just letting the knees softly bounce out to the side. As you hold back onto as you hold your toes, you can kind of rock your heart back and drop your chin towards your chest. And then as you inhale, you can move your heart forwards between your arms, bringing your elbows in towards you, looking up a little. And then exhale, rocking back. And inhale, coming forwards. And exhale, coming back. And just starting to let the heart move forwards and back in this way. So less of the nodding donkey. It's not so much about the head. It's more about the movement of the heart, if you can try and let that be the focus. So we're still on the month of the month of April, so the theme is love. So it's really nice to just begin our practice with that heart awareness. Can we stay open in the midst of all the chaos, all the challenges, all the new circumstances we find ourselves in? Okay, crossing, ankles coming to sitting, because it can be so tempting to close, can't it? That is our default response as human beings. So way more interesting to just lean into staying open, letting layers dissolve. Inhale, take your right arm up. And exhale, bend the elbow, bring your hand to your ear, gently dropping right ear to right shoulder. And just noticing how that feels, letting the left shoulder drop away. The word yoga actually means union, to yoke. And that can be interpreted a gazillion, million, billion ways. But one way I like is to see it as union between external world and internal world. Letting the two align. And then inhale as you come up to center, bringing your hands to your knees as you come to center. Then left arm rises, bend the elbow, bringing your hand to your right ear. And left ear moves towards left shoulder. And just noticing where you can feel that. And then releasing your hand, coming back to center, taking a little head circle. You know the way. Moving in a way that feels nourishing and gentle and kind to yourself. And then switching directions. Up to center and then rolling the shoulders. Let the shoulder blades slide as you do these circles. And then circling your heart. Blow my nose. And then switching directions, circling the other way. Thursday already. That surely was the quickest week ever known to man. And then Coming back to center, we're going to lie down on our tummies. So lying face down. And then picking up your, actually you're going to take your left arm and make a little cradle for your forehead to come down and lay on your forearm. And then you're going to slide your right arm under the left armpit. So you can either be looking to the left or keep your forehead flat to the floor. Breathing into the back of your heart. You find the shape and then you settle into it. And then inhale, coming back up, and let's come onto our forearms. So we're in a little Sphinx pose. Press the pelvis into the floor, wriggle your ribcage a little further. Notice how you can make some space for your lower back, for your kidneys. And we're practicing Ujjayi breath as we move, so there's a lovely inhale and exhale coming through the nose that is quite audible through the throat. Picking up the left hand, thread that beneath the right arm, but again your right arm is going to become a little nest for your forehead to lay down. And your left arm comes underneath you and over to the right hand side. And then coming back to center. This time bring your hands either side of your chest. Let your forehead come to the floor. Your hands are going to hover just a couple of inches away from the floor as you tuck your elbows in, drawing your shoulder blades down your back. Press the pelvis into the floor and inhale a tiny little lift. It might be minuscule movements. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as you come up. And exhale as you come down. We're going to come back to Sphinx pose, so you're on your forearms again, palms pressing into the floor. Fingers wide apart. Draw the shoulder blades down your back and lift your collarbones. And if you've got a sensitive lower back, this is probably more than enough for you today. Engage Mula Bandha and notice how that changes things going on inside. And if you want to, you can press into your hands and come up into seal. Again, drawing the shoulder blades down your back. And then exhale. Elbows back down to the floor. We're going to come into a Sphinx variation here. It's quite an unusual movement, but quite interesting. So you're going to bend your right knee out to the side. So it's about 90 degrees, and the shin bone is 90 degrees to the thigh bone. Your arms are still in Sphinx pose. And you're going to gently press your hips down into the floor. So the full pose of this is called frog, when you have both knees out either side. But if you have any kind of tightness in your inner thighs and inner hips, which I do, it literally feels like you're snapping your legs. So we're just going to take the half version today. And then straightening the leg back down again. Take a moment in neutral. And then the left knee is going to come out to the side about 90 degrees from the body, shin 90 degrees from the thigh. Gently pressing the hips down towards the floor. And then bringing the leg back. We'll walk the hands in, sit back on heels, and stretch arms straight out in front of you. Forehead to the floor, breathing into the lower back. Inhaling as you come up onto all fours. Exhaling as you sweep the right arm down to the floor, dropping the right ear to the floor, keeping the bottom high. You can extend the left arm alongside your ear. So you can get both palms flat to the floor. And then inhale, coming back, arms both straight out in front of you, melting your heart down to the floor. Perhaps the chin lays on the floor, perhaps the forehead. This is called melting heart pose. And then picking up the left arm, threading it beneath the right armpit. Right ear to the floor. Inhaling as you come back to melting heart. And then coming up onto all fours. Let's extend the right leg away. And as you exhale, bring the knee forward. We're going to come into pigeon. And come up onto your fingertips, sitting up nice and tall. Allow the left foot to walk away a little bit further away. Let the hips become heavy. So the things to watch out for this front knee, you want it to feel really, really comfortable here. So you can change the position of this leg accordingly. The closer this foot, the right foot comes to the left wrist, the more intense the pose is. So if it feels too much, just tuck it in a little closer. You can, of course, also have a cushion underneath your hips, and that can feel really nice and supportive. As you inhale, sit up a little bit taller. And as you exhale, you're going to walk your hands forwards again. And then thread the left arm under the right armpit, turning left ear to the floor. Inhale as you come back to center. Walking your hands in. Coming up onto your fingertips. Out of curiosity, you might bend that back knee, have the toes pointing upwards. For me, that means that my hips instantly come up off the floor. So my weight is in my hands to give me support. For some of you, it might be nice to take the left arm all the way up and back and take hold of the foot and draw it in towards you, elbow lifting up towards the ceiling. We're just finding ways to make space, ways to make this feel good. So you don't need to go anywhere that feels uncomfortable, certainly staying away from pinching. Just a little curious exploration into how your body's doing this morning. Okay, and then releasing. Tuck the toes under of the back foot so the knee lifts up off the floor. Press into the hands and come into a high plank. Scooping the tummy in towards the floor. Sorry, in towards the ceiling. And then dropping the knees. Take a moment to have a little bit of cat and cow. Just enjoy the unique sort of freedom the spine has when you're in cat and cow. It's so supported in different ways. Do whatever wriggle you need, maybe a little hip circle or two. Good morning, spine. And then extend the left leg out when you're ready. And as you exhale, the left knee is going to come forward. And again, you're going to settle yourself into a pigeon pose of your choice. So feel free to grab a cushion. Feel free to explore the positioning of your left heel now. Finding the place that feels good for you. And then possibly coming up onto your fingertips so you can sit up nice and tall. Hips are heavy. They're kind of just dissolving down into the floor. And then walking your hands forwards. And this time the right arm threads beneath the left armpit. Right ear comes to the floor. Inhaling as you come back up. And it's often very different from one side to the other, so perhaps this is all good for you to stay here today, or perhaps you can bend that back knee. Notice where your hips go to. So for me, this side is way tighter, actually. Hips come way higher up off the floor. Right arm perhaps circles all the way back to catch hold of the foot. Elbow bending up towards the ceiling. And then releasing, tucking the toes under of the back foot, pressing the heel away. And then sweeping your legs around to in front of you. And we're going to take our legs open wide to the side, toes pointing upwards. I'm going to grab a cushion. Nice to just have a cushion to tilt the pelvis, gives you a little bit of extra support. Toes pointing upwards. Inhale, take your right arm up. As you exhale, bring your right elbow down to your thigh. And rest your right ear in your hand. And then inhale, reach the left arm up. And exhale, take the arm overhead towards the toes. So you can take any kind of variable here. If it's not comfortable to rest your head in your hand, then you can always just bring the hand down to the floor. The only reason for this hand here supporting your head is just to help you feel a bit more supported. Inhale as you come up to center. Take a moment in neutral, hands either side of your hips. Feel that lovely moment of bounce back that you get. Inhale, the left arm comes up. Elbow comes to left thigh, perhaps resting the head. Inhale as the right arm comes up, and exhale as the arm comes overhead towards the toes. And again, you do have the option if you'd rather just place the hand on the floor. And inhale as you come back up to center, bring your hands in front of you. And exhale as you walk your hands forwards, drop your chin towards your chest. Deep breaths. Walking your hands back in, you're going to bend the right knee and take the sole of the right foot over to the left inner thigh. Hands come down to the floor, the left hand is inside the left leg, the right hand is behind you, and your gaze is straight along the line of your thigh bone across your knee. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, slide the left hand down towards the heel as you reach right arm overhead. And try to keep a little bit of height in the shoulder, in the elbow, so you're not collapsing towards the floor. We're trying to create space. It really isn't that interesting how far forward you go. You know, some people can catch their feet here and that's lovely. Some people can't, that's also lovely. But what you don't want is any kind of aggression as you try to create a shape that you feel you should be creating. Much more interesting to notice how the breath is adapting to hold this shape and what little movement you can add to make it feel juicier. Inhale as you come up, and we'll take the right leg back out to the side. Left knee bends, sole of foot to inner thigh, toes pointing upwards. Right hand inside right leg, left hand behind. Take a moment to sit up, looking out along the thigh bone. And as you exhale, you'll slide the right hand towards the right heel and let the left arm sweep up and over. And actually this bottom hand, if you press down through it, it gives you the capacity to lift a little higher through the heart. Inhale as you come all the way back up. Let's take legs straight out in front of you. Give them a little shake. We'll bend the right knee. Let's bring the foot across. So it's on the outside of the left leg. The left toes are pointing upwards. Inhale, left arm rises. Exhale, elbow comes across. Right hand comes behind you. Sitting up tall, feeling proud, giving your lungs all the space they could possibly need for a deep and nourishing breath. Inhaling back to center, uncross the legs. We'll do the same on the other side. Left knee comes up, foot comes across, right toes are pointing upwards. Inhale as the right arm rises. Exhale as the elbow comes across, left hand comes behind. And you rotate with a smile, sitting up a little taller, breathing a little deeper. Inhaling as you come back. Okay, uncross the legs. We're going to lie down on our backs. Lay down on your back with your knees bent. Open your arms out into a wide T. Maybe let's bring the knees up so the shins are parallel to the floor. And scoop the tummy in towards the spine. Inhale. And as you exhale, drop the knees to the right, turn your gaze to the left. And then inhaling, knees back to center. Exhaling them over to the left, turning your gaze to the right. Inhaling back to center. You're going to drop your legs down to the floor. Have your feet wide apart. Take your arms overhead with your arms apart. So you're making the shape of a pentacle. And stretch out through your fingers, stretch out through your toes. Take up a load of space if you've got room to do so. And if you were with us on Monday when we did a practice, there may have been an intention that you set. The words I am, followed by something positive in the present tense. If you can call to memory that word, then as you take this shape, just repeat the mantra, I am, and let that intention be reinforced again today. If you weren't here on Monday, there may be a word that comes up for you anyway. Something positive, something in the present tense that you would love to embody and anchor in for the rest of this week. And then bringing your arms down to your side, bend your knees. Hug your knees into your chest, press the lower back into the floor. And then rock your way back up to sitting as you are ready for another glorious day. Namaste, everybody.